What's up, sports fans? This is the Lucas Ross Sports Channel. We continue here with my 2024 predictions for the upcoming 2024 college football season. The Alabama Crimson Tide are up next. Of course, a team coming off the playoff appearance from last year and then, of course, winning it all in the SEC championship game. So Alabama had a pretty good year last year. The first half of the season wasn't really their best, but this team got better and better as the season went on, but they still made it to the college football playoff either way. You look at this team for 2024, my thoughts on this team. Offensively, obviously Jalen Milroe will be back at quarterback. That's going to be a huge return for them. So I think the offense will have a chance to be pretty explosive. And then defensively, I do have some concerns there about the defensive side of the football for Alabama. Even though this is going to be still like a very talented team, but, they did lose some players from the transfer portal, of course, over the, course of the year. Nick Saban, of course, retiring. It's going to be definitely a new area here for Alabama. Not with just the new program and everything. It's really just about the coaching change and everything. And obviously, Nick Saban was one of the greatest coaches of all time. So with him gone now, Alabama probably won't be the same program as they used to be. But let's now look at the schedule here for 2024. This is the schedule here for Alabama. Again, they were 12-2 last year in Nick Saban's final year in 2023. So let's go game by game now and give you a record prediction here for Alabama for 2024. First game of the season is here at home against Western Kentucky, and then they play South Florida. So they do play a couple of cupcake games to start out the year on August 31st and September 7th. Western Kentucky is not a bad team out of the Conference USA, but I don't really expect Alabama to struggle in that one. And then they got a rematch here with South Florida from last year. Remember that game from last year? The game was only 17-9 win here for Alabama. This time they do play South Florida here at home. I feel like they'll be ready for this team this time, and they probably will win this one probably by a blowout. So I think Alabama starts off the season with two easy wins, again against Western Kentucky and South Florida. So I think Alabama starts out 2-0 pretty easily. And then there's that big game on the road here at Wisconsin on September the 14th. Again, it's going to be a road game here for Alabama in week number 3 this season, a matchup against the Big Ten and everything. You look at this Wisconsin team, a lot of production coming back this year for them. You got some transfers that are coming over to help them out as well. Luke Fickell's second year as the head coach for Wisconsin. Alabama is still going to be the very talented roster in this game either way, but this won't be an easy game here for Alabama. It's pretty much a trap game to start out the year here for this Crimson Tide team. When you got Kalen DeBoer, first-year head coach, obviously, it's still going to be a very tough game either way. But, either way, Alabama's still going to be the very talented team. I think Wisconsin can keep this game close, probably throughout the whole entire fourth quarter and everything, but at the end of the day, this one's a tough one to call for me. Usually I go with home field advantage and everything, but again, I'm not really doing that this year with my predictions. I'm really choosing the more talented roster, and that is Alabama. Alabama is still going to have a very talented roster. I think the talent is there for them, and I think Wisconsin does have a good amount of experience, but it just won't be that way. I feel like Alabama is definitely clearly the better team in this one. So with that being said, I'm going to take Alabama in this one on the road here at Wisconsin. I think they do escape here with a close win over Wisconsin. Their defense probably makes a big-time stop at the end of the day. So I got Alabama winning here on the road at Wisconsin, and that puts their record here at 3-0. And then they get a bye week after that Wisconsin game before playing Georgia here at home on September 28th. I did my Georgia video from yesterday, and I did pick the Bulldogs to win this one. Georgia's got really the more talented roster, in my opinion. You just look at the differences, both of these teams. Georgia's got a lot of experience coming back on the offensive side of the football. I feel like their offense is going to be explosive as well, and like I said in the Georgia video, this game will be a shootout here. It probably will go into the fourth quarter because it is a home game here for Alabama, but at the end of the day, I do like Georgia's roster a little bit more. I do trust them a little bit more as well. So with that being said, I think Georgia gives Alabama their first loss of the season, and that puts Alabama's record here at 3-1. So I got them losing to Georgia here at home on September 28th. Next game is on the road here at Vanderbilt on October the 5th. Vanderbilt is a team I don't really know how good they're going to be, and obviously probably going to be the worst team in the SEC once again. I think Alabama bounces back here after a tough loss to Georgia. They come out really angry, and they dominate Vanderbilt here in this one, even though it's on the road. So I think Alabama wins that game, and that puts their record here at 4-1. Then they play South Carolina after that here on October 12th. This will be a home game here for Alabama. South Carolina is a team that, I'm having some question marks about. I don't know how good they're going to be, honestly, this year. I think defensively they'll be really good, but, offensively you do have some concerns there. Spencer Rattler is gone at quarterback. But, this is a home game here for Alabama. I do expect Alabama to kind of dominate in this one. I don't think it's a blowout just like the Vanderbilt game, but I do expect Alabama to come out here and really be angry after just losing to Georgia a couple weeks ago. But I think Alabama wins this one here. They win it fairly easily over South Carolina, and that puts their record here at 5-1. And the next game is on the road here at Tennessee on October 19th. This game has been really close in the last couple years, the third Saturday of October, obviously. Because when Nick Saban was here, Alabama used to dominate every single year, but it seems like Tennessee is now catching up to Alabama. This rivalry is getting more interesting, throughout the years and everything. A couple years ago, Alabama came to Knoxville and did lose to Tennessee for the first time. They were on a 15-game winning streak, and Tennessee finally snapped that losing streak. This year, it is on the road here. Tennessee obviously had a really good chance to beat Alabama last year. I think Tennessee is going to really come out fired up in this one. The home crowd will be behind them as well, and it's going to be a very tough game here on the road, especially for a first-year head coach in Kalen DeBoer. With that being said, this is obviously a rival game. Anything can happen. It is a tough game to call, so with that being said, I'm going to go with the home field advantage in this one. I think Tennessee beats Alabama here and gets revenge on the Crimson Tide. I know that's a game that Alabama likely will be favored in, but I think Tennessee playing at home, they do get it done here. It's a 50-50 game in my opinion. I think both rosters are pretty even. So that puts Alabama's record here at 5-2. I got Tennessee giving Alabama their second loss of the season. And then next game for Alabama is against Missouri on October 26th. This will be another home game here for the Crimson Tide. You're trying to recover after the loss to Tennessee here. Missouri is not going to be an easy game here for Alabama because the Tigers, they do have a lot of experience coming back this year. Especially on the offensive side of the football. That's definitely going to be their biggest strength there, the offensive side of the football. I do have some concerns about the Missouri defense, but this is going to be a very talented Missouri team. I don't really think they're quite on the level of Alabama, though. I think Alabama playing at home here comes out really angry after the Tennessee loss, and they do get the win here over Missouri. I think their defense probably gets better by this time, but it won't be an easy game. It's definitely a trap game, even though it's at home here for Alabama. So I think Alabama gets the win there, and I think they improved to 6-2. And then they get a bye week after that Missouri game before playing on the road here at LSU on November the 9th. This is obviously an interesting game every single year. You look at LSU and Alabama, two rivals here that, it goes back and forth between these two teams every single year. Last year, obviously, Alabama defeated LSU. They got revenge on them. Now LSU is looking for revenge here on Alabama in Death Valley. I feel like both of these teams are pretty even. I think LSU is going to have a pretty good defense this year. I mean, offensively, they do have some question marks. Jaden Daniels is gone, but, this is going to be a very tight game. It probably could be a low-scoring game. I think LSU's got a really good defense to stop this Alabama offense from scoring a lot of points. So with that being said, it's a 50-50 game in my opinion, just like the Tennessee game. It definitely can go either way. By the end of the day, home field advantage does favor the Tigers in this one. So with that being said, I'm going to take LSU to beat Alabama here in this one, and that gives Alabama their third loss of the season. So I got LSU giving Alabama their third loss of the season, and that puts Alabama's record here at 7-3. Then they take care of business against Mercer the next week. I should say their record went to 6-3, and now they get their seventh win here against Mercer. And the next game is on the road here at Oklahoma on November 23rd. This is a road game here for Alabama and a very tough place to play. Definitely a trap game also, in my opinion. The Sooners are heading into their first year in the SEC. We don't know how, obviously, they're going to be good this year, but Offensively, you do have some question marks for Oklahoma, but I think their offense will be better by this time. And then defensively, I think they have a good enough defense to stop Alabama. But, Alabama has a lot of talent on the roster. I just think it's going to be too much here for Oklahoma. I know this is a road game, but I feel like it's going to take some time for Oklahoma to get really, used to the SEC and everything. So with that being said, I think Alabama goes on the road here and defeats Oklahoma. It is a close game, but I think the Crimson Tide offense will prevail with a game-winning play, perhaps something like that. So that puts Alabama's record here at 8-3. And then the final game of the season is in the Iron Bowl against Auburn on November 30th. This was the game of the year last year, on the road at Jordan-Hare. Alabama, of course, almost lost this game last year. That was definitely going to ruin their playoff hopes, but they got the win anyway. It was a really good game between these two teams, but this time Alabama plays this game at home. I mean, Auburn should be a lot improved from where they were from last year. They have a veteran roster and added some transfers, coming in from the transfer portal. Yeah, this could be a very interesting game, which I think it will be because it is the Iron Bowl. Anything can happen. Both of these teams are pretty even in my opinion, but home field advantage does favor Alabama in this one. If it was on the road at Jordan-Hare Stadium, once again, I would definitely choose the Tigers in this one, but I'm going to go with Alabama here just because they're playing at home, and I think they get their 9th win of the season there against the Tigers in the Iron Bowl. So my official prediction here for Alabama for 2024 is 9-3. So I know that sounds crazy that Alabama probably, can possibly go 9-3. But you just look at the schedule. They have to play Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, Missouri. That's a tough game there at home. They also got Wisconsin in the non-conference, and they also got Oklahoma. What if Alabama goes 7-5? That would definitely be a disappointment to start out the Kalen DeBoer era. But again, this is a first-year head coach. Alabama's still going to have a talented roster to definitely make the college football playoff and everything. But again, with this kind of schedule, they probably could lose 3 games, or maybe 4 games as well. If they probably lose to Oklahoma there on the road. We've seen Alabama struggle on the road at times now in the past. So again, Alabama can lose any of these games here. They can definitely lose to Wisconsin or Oklahoma and probably finish 8-4. They can definitely go 10-2, but I don't really think it's going to be a possibility that this team can go undefeated and maybe also go 11-1. But my prediction for this Alabama team is 9-3 for 2024. Give me your thoughts on this Alabama team down in the comments below. What do you think their prediction is for 2024? Or I should say, what do you think their record will be in 2024? Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned here for more sports content videos on my Lucas Ross Sports channel.